Right, okay, we have got volume. I'm going to start with a cuboid first of all. So a cuboid is made up of rectangles or rectangles and squares. The formula for a cuboid is exactly the same for the volume of a cube. So a cube is made up of just squares, so like a dice, where a cuboid is something like a shoebox, cereal box, etc. The formula for both of these is the following: length multiplied by width and then multiplied by height. And that's given it your three dimensions. So you've got your length, your width, and then your height. Okay. Your height sometimes is called your depth, just depends what you want to call it. But basically, if you were stood, I'll just go back and just do it all from one corner. If you were stood in this corner, you could look down this way, back this way, and up that way. So you're seeing all three dimensions. If we think about area, area is a massive link to volume. And it all starts with this part here. To work out the area of a square or a cube, of a rectangle, we always do our length multiplied by width. And that will find us the front face. Any volume that you need to know within this video that we're going to do is all about the area of the first shape that you see, and then you multiply it by its depth or its height. But it can't just be any old shape that you see. It has to be the shape that is continuous throughout, and that's called the cross section. So the cross section, so if we think about this rectangle at the front, this rectangle is basically stacked up. So it comes all the way back, one on top of each other. So it's like taking one sheet of paper, but then stacking the same size sheet of paper on top of each other, on top of each other. And then it gives it that thickness and that depth. So if I've got a cube or a cuboid, so if we take this cube here, I've got 6 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 5 centimeters. To work out the area, I would just do 6 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5, and that would then give me my area. So I've got 6 multiplied by 4 is 24, and then 24 multiplied by 5 gives me an answer of 120. So the units of measure for volume is, in this case, centimeters and then cubed. Okay, the cube again just shows those three different dimensions, both its area plus then that third dimension from the depth or the height. If it was a cube, you'd do exactly the same thing, but all you'd have is that all of these numbers would be the same. So if we made that 6 and then that 6, all I'd then do is do 6 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 6. So on this one, I've got 6 multiplied by 6 is 36, multiplied by 6 gives me 216 centimeters cubed. Right, now we're going to have a look at the volume of other shapes. The only other shapes that we're going to look at in this video will be a cylinder and also a triangular prism. They are the most common ones that you'll be needing to know. The first thing then that we need is the picture to have a look at. So there is a prism, which is a triangular prism. It's a triangular prism, and the word prism means that you've got a shape that goes continually all the way through, which stays the same. And in this case, it is this triangle. This triangle then effectively is like a Toblerone bar. So you like a Toblerone bar, when you've got slices one behind each other, again, you get that nice depth. And obviously that makes then that shape of the triangular prism. What we've got to do is the area of the cross section, which is our triangle, and then multiply it by that depth. Again, that's stacking up of those triangles. So to work out the area of the cross section, which is a triangle, I need to do my base multiplied by the height divided by 2. So I need the base of the triangle, I need the height of the triangle, and the height should always come off of the base to the tip of the triangle at 90 degrees. So it's also called the perpendicular height. Perpendicular means at 90 degrees. What we also then need is our depth. Okay, so if we've now got, let's say that our base is 10 centimeters, our height is 5 centimeters, and our depth is 8 centimeters. First thing I'm going to work out is my area of my triangle. So I need to do 10 multiplied by 5 divided by 2 gives me 25 centimeters squared. So that's my area. I now need to take that and multiply it by my 8, which is going to give me an answer of 200. Okay. And then centimeters cubed. So to work out the area of a triangular prism, we have to do the area of the circle first, base times height divided by 2, and then we multiply it by its depth, which then gives us the volume and that stacking effect of those triangles. Right, the next one then that we're going to look at, and the last one, is the area, sorry, not the area, the volume of a cylinder. So the cylinder, so like a can of Coke, let's see if I can do a shape on, nope. Okay, so a cylinder, what we need to know then is how to find the area of a circle. So on a cylinder, our cross section is a circle. So again, it's just like a circle stacked on each other to give us that height like we would from like a can. So the area of a circle is found by doing pi multiplied by the radius squared, and then I'm going to multiply it by my height, because again, my cylinder's got height to it. If it was laying on its side, you might want to call it its depth, but effectively, area of the circle multiplied by this other bit. I've done a video on area, on circles, so if you're not sure about the area of a circle, that just breaks it down a little bit more in case they give you different variations. But let's go with the radius. So if I say that my radius is, I don't know, let's go 8.2, and my height is 10.4. First thing I'm going to do then is do pi multiplied by 8.4, and then I'm going to square it. Oh, hold on, clear everything. Right, 8.4 squared multiplied by shift and pi. That gives me 221.67 centimeters squared, and that's correct to 2 decimal places. I'm then going to take that answer, and I'm not even going to, I've wrote it down and rounded it on my sheet, but what I'm going to do is immediately take that answer on my calculator and then multiply it by 10.4. And then that gives me an answer of 2,305.38 to 2 decimal places, and then centimeter cubed. Okay, so again, the area of the cross section, so in this case it's a circle, then I multiply it by that third dimension. So if it's a square or a cuboid, I know I'm doing area of a square or a rectangle and then multiplied by its depth. If it's a triangular prism, I'm doing area of a triangle first, then multiply it by its depth. And if it's the volume of a cylinder, I'm doing volume of a circle and then multiplying it by its height or depth. Okay, hope that helps. If it don't, tough.